Ah. Way back to Rogue Trader. Yeah, this one place to go before what is very clearly the absolute last boss. Or at least the very absolute last planet, it seems. And if I'm right, it's gonna be a zinger. Especially since it lines up with something else I was kinda thinking. Lines up a bit too well, in fact.
You left the Novus Imperialis to serve the Rogue Trader. Do you ever regret it, Seneschal?
No, I do not regret it in the least. Serving in the Imperial Navy is a fine thing to do. But it was only under Lady Theodora that I truly felt the significance of what I was doing.
Neat. Oh, they're just out and about this time. That's probably not good. Alright, it didn't do the full send-up that time. It didn't do that every time. That would have gotten very quickly annoying. Alright, Argenta, you just need to be where you can shoot literally all of them. Here's probably good. And we honestly don't need to care about the rest. But we're going to anyway. Hey, you guys have fun on the front lines. I'll be, leading from the rear. You know damn well I'm useless. Nah, I guess these ones can take extra damage, why not? Yeah, that door also has health. Probably should take care of those. They're teleportation matrix beacons. Probably blow those the fuck up before they summon infinite Necrons and overwhelm us. Decree of the Inquisitor? Be really fucked up if using this thing when I think will become appropriate, causes a debuff of some kind. This for the extra crit chance. Can actually hit all of these guys with this. Not even close to where I fucking aimed. I literally can't believe it did that. That wasn't even remotely fucking close.
High momentum.
Because fire doesn't seem to actually do damage to enemies.
High momentum.
What the fuck? Okay, I guess it accidentally clicked on Abelard's portrait. That might have been what happened before, too, honestly. Not a fan of it. Work on this guy.
Will not undo me.
I know you think you're not gonna die here. And, you know, all else being equal, you probably shouldn't, but... Dang, he lived. Well, he's not gonna do it twice.
Assemblement commencing.
Yeah, figures.
High momentum.
Yeah, move the front line to you so you take extra damage. Gabella, how about you, clean this up a bit? All dead. Yay, level up. I know exactly what I'm gonna give the ones who can have it. Assuming you can get it this level. Looks like... archetype talent and an exemplar talent. Maybe? Overpenetration can't be dodged and I get a ton of it. That's not bad, but what else do I got? Yeah. Does this include... Nope. Legendary meme. Yeah, this isn't very useful. This, I guess. Alright. What do you want? This is actually important. This could be useful, but it's kind of a last resort thing. Like, there's nothing better than Cataclysm. This would be one extra attack, which is just okay. Honestly, Cataclysm's just good. The extra ballistic skill and movement points wouldn't be terrible for her, but... And the 10 ballistic skill would be quite nice. And since it rarely goes past the first turn, and she has layers and layers of bonus armor, friggin' whatever it's called. Temporary health? Temporary hit points, that's what it was. And in that way, it's basically perfect. So, yeah. I think we're out of stuff to buff up extra turns that she gives. Yeah, because I picked this up last time. The extra willpower would be nice, yeah. Extra armor wouldn't be terrible for the one round, but it's only for the one round and not stacking makes it just kind of okay. I guess the extra AP is a little worth it. That first turn. Probably... degraded defense on you as well, actually. Thunderbolts and lightning. Ugh. Lot of thunder. Yeah, none of these are too important for her at this point. I guess this. Sometimes it'll give her extra charges. Now, Pascal, I for sure don't think there's anything to give him that'll be useful. Like, I could make him more durable, and I think that's about it. Tough as steel. Any other blue stuff he can have? This, sure. And Abel, baby! Lord of Abel. This, any healing is 50% better, and he passively heals, so he's damn near immortal now. What's over here? Gloom Rifle. That is better than the Terrorax Slayer. Damage from overpen is always 100. Deals an additional damage equal to triple their deflection. Oh my god. The enemies that have a lot of deflection actually take more damage from this thing. And I'm basically guaranteed to overpenetrate. The other things like damage bonus never seem to work. So, hell yeah. Look at these. Doubles crit damage dealt by the wearer. Oh my god. What do you currently have on? I'm pretty sure it increases rate of fire. That +1 rate of fire is really good. This is also increasing crit damage, so... Double crit damage. Maybe I can actually hurt something now. Yeah, I only have one of these on. Let's see. No. Yeah, I kind of don't need extra wounds. Just guarantee I'm gonna be critting stuff when I feel the need to. Has that been equipment the whole time? Because I did not realize. They shall weep. A bolter. Each shot with this bolter deals an additional 45 rending damage with 40% armor penetration to all characters adjacent to the target. The fuck does that mean? Why 45? 5 times your ballistics bonus. Ah, that would explain that. Get up real close with this thing and shred someone. Heavy void suit. Abelard, you want this? Oh yeah, you want this. Actually... He's not from a fortress world, so that's not great, but... Bonus against area and burst, armor against human... Yeah, I think he wants that. Whenever the wearer is under the effect of Reckless Rush, all attacks gain 50% crit chance. They gain 50% crit damage. All attacks against the wearer gain 50% crit chance, and the wearer suffers more crit damage. Double-edged sword. Really puts the Reckless in the Reckless Rush. Honestly, I might put that on you, because you dodging stuff and... yeah. Alright. Vox does not produce sound immediately. The officer who made the recording speaks clearly and confidently, but also softly. The barely perceptible vibration in his low, order-like voice. Seems the tape is partially damaged. Entry 1. We landed successfully. We're unable to report to Her Ladyship. Communication channel was filled with interference. The navigation system has been affected as well, so we'll not be able to take off anytime soon, let alone return to the ship. Sergeant Damani is looking for the source of the interference. The only thing left to do is to keep a log. Entry 5. Thanks to the information we received earlier, we managed to partially decipher some of the inscriptions on the obelisks. Only the general meaning is clear. Creatures buried here are extremely hostile. We've not been able to identify the source of the interference affecting our communications and navigation. Lady Theodora made it clear this expedition is extremely important, so we'll continue the exploration regardless of obstacles. Whoever finds this Vox log must give it to Her Ladyship personally and no one else. I trust you guys. Just like kind of look around at the rest. Technically I'm the only one who's supposed to hear this, but I trust you. Entry 18. While the structure is being inspected, incinerated Corporal Monroe. We buried him with as much dignity as was possible in these barren rocks. His sacrifice need not be in vain. We'll be more careful next time and will not embarrass Her Ladyship. Entry 19. Explosion of the Xeno artifact damaged the engine, the fuel compartment, and the cargo hold where we're keeping supplies. It's unlikely we'll return to Lady Theodora's flagship. We've almost completed our task and are about to enter the buildings. What matters is the preservation of the data we have obtained. There are no dead people behind the monoliths. Creatures attacked us as soon as we managed to activate the gate mechanism in one of the buildings. Their weapons destroy flesh and plasteel with equal ease. Their bodies recover from any wounds. Words are interrupted by a bang and a yell. I'll keep recording until my final breath, and I hope it benefits the House of Von Valancius. The weapons of the Xenos burn with green fire and hurl bolts of lightning, and energy charges burst from their blades. Damani has fallen to the ground and cannot get up. Her body is breaking. The rocks beneath it are about to crack. Tell Dahlia that her father gave his life for the good of the Von Valancius dynasty. May she be proud of... Damn. %, armor, i.e. he can't take damage from normal attacks. Well, barring armor pen. 95% parry is very low dodge, but if he's in melee, they're not doing a lot. I don't have her Reckless Rush too often, but when I do, she's going to kill them all. Broken body's been smashed in the ground with such force there are cracks radiating out from under it. Yeesh. You can still recognize the Von Valancius coat of arms and the half-abraded emblem on the side of the shuttle. Parts of the hull and equipment look as if something vaporized the ship's components, one layer after another. Drawing upon your patchy knowledge of the Xenos, you guess that these monoliths were once part of a mighty transport ship, capable of transforming into ground-based structures. Well, we can't get the doors open, that's for sure. What a fun little distraction. Just a single encounter. A little bit of lore in there. But yes, canonically, Necron weapons just ignore any amount of durability you might put into the armor. There's no point. There's genuinely no point in even wearing armor when fighting a Necron. The best you could get is maybe the armor is destroyed instead of your chest. But even then, that's a big if. Alright, before we land, I need to go take care of something. I will be right back. And I'm back. Sorry about the little thing. Also, just now occurring to me. I'll pause the recording for a sec. Hopes. Alright, just send some Discord messages real quick. Oopsies. Lord Captain, spotted a planetoid with an unidentified xenostructure. Something tells me this is the place we've been looking for. Olga clerics detect a field of void mines on our trajectory toward the planetoid. What do we see on the planetoid? Practically nothing. The Olga clerics say that magnetic radiation blinds the machine spirits. See some kind of wicked pyramid, and we're picking up a few encrypted Vox transmissions. Tell me more about these mines. Good mines, I know from experience. Cased in ceramite under a coat of camellia line, their cognate detonators are inhabited by the... Close thunder. If you're curious what I did before, I had to go and close some windows, because it was quite warm today, so open windows to keep it cool, but now it's very loud thunder, so I'm to assume rain is coming. I'd rather rain not be in my house. Especially with how windy it's been today. Yeah. Far too good for pirates, and given they've been planted for 7 cubic kilometers, reason these are gifts from the Lord Inquisitor's own stores. Transmit the deactivation code we found in the outpost of the Lord Inquisitor's men. Beginning transmission. Receiving return signal. 5% of mines report a transition to sleep mode. Receiving coordinates of an area designated as main landing site. Have a safe channel of approach toward Epitaph and coordinates for landing. Any traces of Calcazar? Plenty. Picking up the remaining Vox echoes of conversations. Standard signals belonging to Olga observation systems. The gas thermal trails of shuttles preparing to land. Oh, Lord Captain. Seemed to me this place is about to fall apart. Olga's detect a multitude of signs pointing to structural damage of the tomb, located on the planetoid. They're very fresh. Commence preparation of the landing party. I'll lead it personally. Are you certain, Lord Captain? Beg your pardon for such audacity. This old Void Wolf's gut tells him this tomb is very likely to become ours. I have this bad feeling, as if Forgive me, your lordship. I've completely lost my senses giving out advice like this. I'm ready to face whatever lies in wait. We make the landing. Be careful, your lordship. Wait as long as it takes for your retrieval signal, even if every Xeno fleet in the world appears to swat us from orbit. Don't worry, I turned down the ship combat difficulty. You'll be able to fight them for a while. Fuck's that mean? Little deal with the God Emperor. He owed me one after the whole... Actually, just a reward for being faithful. He didn't owe me shit. That's gonna be the real reason. Just his ship is just protected by the God Emperor. The Emperor could just turn down the difficulty for some things. Not for everything. Just one thing per person. And ship combat was kind of grating for me, so... Decided to make it easy mode. I know not everyone's... I know some people get like, oh, you gotta do it the hard mode or you didn't do it right. I feel like the only way you can make that argument is you install a mod to force the game to be easier. Then I think there's some arguments that you've, I think that has some argument of, like, cheating at the game. But if it's in the game already, I don't want to hear anyone saying I cheated to get it there. You can say it's cheap, and I'll agree with you, but it's not cheating. Every person on the bridge freezes in astonishment, watching the remarkable procession approach your throne. Officers and enforcers are glancing at you questioningly. Do not interfere until they are ordered to. We have come to speak with you, Angoth. Nomos, you're looking a little bit fucking different. Did they mean to use this portrait? You gave us food for consideration by revealing the mystery of our origin. From then to now, we observed, calculated, sensed. And we discovered that a great change is coming. A trial. Coming thunder. That one shook the house a bit. We see the potential for a great disaster. It is already ripening. The wave could crash down upon the Cronus Expanse and, perhaps, extend beyond it. We are headed for suffering and death. But you are not someone who can defeat the disaster. Even if you do, you might become the next disaster. There is no light in you, no desire to protect, and for this reason, we have decided we should not help you any longer. Fucking what? Wait, what is this coming threat? Nomos cannot say. Something changed after you helped us remember our birth on Epitaph. We now sense the liberation of something vast, which is actually a mere fraction of something limitless. It is seeping through a breach, its shoulders pushing against the walls of its prison that are about to give. But what it is, we do not know. It's not yet time for us to part ways. Nomos have decided. We are leaving. We are glad to have received what we have from you, but we cannot and do not want to stay any longer. I think I know what caused this, and I'm kind of fucking mad at the game for forcing it. So I think this is because I gave an answer that was conflicting with my first answer after Kamarog. But my first answer when I met him about stuff was... The game basically forced me to give a conflicting answer because of my other answer, even though that's not why I did it. Well, they force... Oh, I don't mind them forcing you to say something. I mind that they force my reasoning for it. And that's stupid. You don't get to decide why I did something, game. I decide why I did something. You can say that it's stupid. You can call into question my reasoning, but you don't get to decide what it was. And that is a big flaw in this game. Is that a lot of the more important shit is hidden and esoteric. And you have to fucking guess what the game wants you to be, wants the reason to be for anything you do. That's not the reason I did it. I wasn't trying to show mercy, I just didn't want to feed a chaos god no matter what. But it wasn't in one of their arbitrary, like, lines, so it was wrong. And that's a problem with a lot of shit they do with Owlcat. A lot of the times, your decisions will boil down to far more arbitrary reasons than you might have intended them. And that's because that's what the writers think your reason had to be, no matter what the reason was. And that is gonna piss me off no matter how much they try to refine it. Okay, I thought there'd be voice acting here. Vela stands motionless, deep in trance, but returns to reality the moment you approach. Your every breath and heartbeat has been in anticipation of this moment, Dominangoth. Do not hesitate. Step into the darkness and allow your shield and shadow to walk with you. My love for you will give me strength. Vela lowers her gaze and stays quiet for a while. Her eyes are full of tenderness and deep, sincere love. I will forever be your shadow, till the Undying One bestows upon me the greatest reward for my service. Have you thought about what happens afterward? If we survive? Now and forever, each of us must follow our own thread, and so it shall be, until the day we find ourselves in his embrace. Her lips curve into a smile. But what's between us? It has made a web that joins you and me, and along that web our love will travel. I will stay strong, I will hold, because it is what the tenets demand, and because I can do no less for you. Now would be a good time to receive an inkling about our future. You consulted the tarot? There's no need for reading. The cards will ask if we are prepared to face the challenge with dignity, and that will be the answer to our own question. Whatever awaits us, it's time we set forth. Every thread ends in death, but only the Undying One knows the time and place. Pascal? The tech priest is checking his gear, whispering prayers to the Omnissiah. Looks up at you and speaks matter-of-factly. The tactical equipment audit is 97% complete. No critical failures detected. The Omnissiah shows favor. Not seem too worried about the coming landing. The Vox makes a rustling noise that sounds like a chuckle. A mission of reconnaissance is a blessed and desirable one for an explorer. The data soul of the one who explores, analyzes, and charts overflows with the joy of servitude. Pascal lowers his eyes. I would be honored to disembark with you. You took it, the campaign comes to an end. Stay on duty or return to your fellow tech priests. Decision on the future of this unit will be made by the conclave of the Cognizance Fleet. A great transgression has been committed, and there is great repentance to be borne. If it proves intolerable to the vital functions of the unit in question, it will console itself with the thought that it has made an effort to rectify the sacrilege it intended. Took good care of my ship and equipment. Dynasty will not forget it. Where the iron flowers of the Omnissiah bloom, there must also be his passionate gardeners. Thank you for honoring this unit by letting it serve the formidable spirit of the Von Valancius Dynasty's flagship, and your lordship. May we have good fortune. There is no such thing as good fortune. May the statistical probability be predictably positive. Heine? Heinrich Van Kallax nods to you. Our journey together approaches its end. One last push and the secrets of the Expanse and Kalkazar will be laid to rest. I can't wait. Tired of the shroud of secrecy that has hidden the truth even from me. You'll meet your mentor again down there. And I have questions for him. Want to know why I was left in the dark about everything that was happening in the shadows of the Expanse. Well, the Acolytes died on the way here. Well, almost all of the Lord Inquisitor's Acolytes. Why? I want to hear what he has to say, and then make my judgment. What will you do when this is over? Henrik presses his lips together and shakes his head. Feel uneasy even thinking about it. But if Lord Inquisitor Xavier Kalkazar falls today, Henrik locks eyes with you. Someone has to take the rosette of the Ordo Xenos, the very least until the Inquisition Enclave determines who will be your worthy successor to Xavier. Epitaph awaits, steal your heart. Interrogator dips his head. Lead on, rogue trader, Ngoth von Valancius. Argenta rolls her shoulders impatiently. Shoulders, shoulders. When is the battle, rogue trader? This idleness is torture. We must destroy our enemies in this den of dark forces. We'll do so by his will and in his name. Gather till the end, sister. In his name and for Terra's light. In his name and for Terra's light. We got time to think about the future? Leader, should we prevail in this pivotal battle? I long to set out on a journey of my own. Forgive me for saying this, Rogue Trader, but I've followed you long enough. There are too many restraints, too many distractions. And meanwhile, thousands, millions of heretics out there have yet to be found and destroyed. I am the only sister of battle the Coronis Expanse has, which means I have much work to do. Almost out of time. Prepare yourself, Argenta. I'm prepared, now and always. Cassia? Goth? Faint smile on Cassia's face makes you momentarily forget about the impending battle. We have traveled a long road together. Let us finish it together as well. Honored to have you among my companions, Lady Cassia. Cassia smiles demurely and curtsies in response. I'm honored to be your companion, Ungoth von Valancius. It's probably not the future you dreamt of. If all this ends in victory for us, what do you intend to do next? I've been running for too long, Ungoth. Hiding behind others while my home, my family, were being torn apart by hatred and strife. What could a young, inexperienced girl do to those who were so desperate to either destroy me or bend me to their will? Cassia smiles bitterly. The throne of the Novator of House Orcelia will no longer sit empty. But my only regret is that I shall have to leave your ship in the darkness between the stars that I've come to love so much. I hope you will visit me, Ingoth. Steel yourself, Lady Cassia. The hour of battle is at hand.
My heart is fluttering, Lord Captain, but not because of fear or doubt. I am ready to face what is coming.
Abelard? Abelard looks at you with a tired smile. Cannot resist giving you his characteristic appraising glance. Well, Lord Captain, my service to you began under the most remarkable circumstances. You should hardly be surprised that you have delivered us into circumstances more unexpected and surprising than ever before. Of one thing I am certain. Von Valancius dynasty will cover itself in glory today. Abelard, no matter what happened, you were always at my side. A seneschal's place is at the Rogue Trader's side. As you have learned, others can betray and abandon you in your darkest hour. Yeah, like the writing staff. Actually, pretty much only them. The Lord Captain cannot count on his seneschal. There is no one he can count on. It is not a fate that I wish for you, so I'm doing my duty. Of a highly organized mind. You must have already considered what you're going to do once this campaign of ours comes to an end. Somewhat embarrassed, Abelard tucks his thumbs into his belt. Now that I have your blessing, it's about time I took care of my family. The Lysarian clan is gone without its patriarch for too long. Should make time for my descendants before some noble upstart tries to chew them up again. Ready to follow me all the way? As always, Lord Captain, I would follow you into fire and back. God Emperor be my witness. I've had the honor of serving under 2 rogue traders and survived one. There would be no shame in going down alongside the other. If it comes to that, naturally. Abelard's chuckle sounds slightly sharper than usual. Get ready, Abelard. We have quite an ordeal ahead of us. We have been through worse. The old seneschal grins cheekily. For a split second looks younger by a good 100 years. Then bows his grey head. I serve House von Valancius, Lord Captain. Jay? The Exalted One once wove our destinies into the glittering tapestry of this world with gold and silver thread shedding. And today the pattern of our lives will either be completed. Jay snaps her metal fingers deliberately loudly. Or the tapestry will be torn asunder. Personally, I prefer to place my troops in the first option. Place my hope in the first option. God. It's like, that didn't sound right. You afraid of what is to come, Jay? The battle against the enemy? Pain? Oblivion? Jay smiles and shakes her head. Oh no, Shireen. My only fear is that after these tribulations, we'll never be the same again. I do so enjoy being me. After a pregnant pause, Jay continues in her usual playful manner. So, what brings you to me, Shireen? Not parting words, I hope, because I despise goodbyes. Feel as though they rob me of my future. Never want to hear goodbye after all, but only ever see you again under the same stars. Just wanted to say I'm glad of your company, especially now. Our alliance is like a miraculous oasis blooming in the fierce desert heat. I'm glad to be your partner and friend and ally in the fight against the enemy. Curious to see what you'll do once this is all over. You mean if it's ever over? And if the Archie don't play their evil tricks on us? Jay raises an eyebrow and shrugs. I don't know, Shireen. Being drunk on unbridled freedom sounds nice. It's so close. Could reach out and grab it like the tail of a comet. Leave the Kazbalka mission behind. Start doing things on my own without having to rely on your good favor. Limitless possibilities lie ahead.
I just have to survive the coming darkness.
Get a grip, Jay. We have a hard battle ahead of us.
Rest assured, Shireen. Comes to matters of being in oblivion, Jay Haddadi has the coldest mind and bravest heart.
Now, Irliet. Irliet looks at you, her emerald eyes shining with quiet determination.
And the path my lost soul was following crumbled beneath my feet, shattered, plunging me into doubt. You were always there, Alantak. Despite how much you hated my kind, despite what my kin were doing, it is time for me to repay you in kind.
Our journey together has not been an easy one. I'm glad that both of us are here today.
We both defended what we held dear, just as life has taught us. And today my soul is at peace. We can share the pain of the coming battle between us, so it is diminished.
Our paths diverge if we survive?
Someday they will, Alantak. Exile opened my eyes to many things, but the path of the outcast weighs heavily on my heart. I think, and I see my new path clearly now. It sings to me, calling me forward. The path of the warrior, the protector of those I could not save before. All that I have learned about the world, about humans, about you, I'll take this knowledge into my new life, and into the lives of my kin.
Our fate will be decided in the coming battle.
Iliad's voice rings like naked steel. Ready to drive back the darkness, Alantak. Are you?
And Ulfar's not here because of stupid bullshit. I'm never gonna let that go. I'm not gonna let go what just happened with Nomos either.
Your lordship, the shuttle is ready for landing. We have the exact coordinates for a secure landing site. You authorized the start of the expedition?
Mission to take off. We're heading to Epitaph.
Acknowledge. Glory to the Von Valancius dynasty. Be safe, Lord Captain.
Yeah, this team. I'm not leveling up Heine 20 times. Oh, those are all just kind of letting us go?
Even the wicked Xenos were no match for the scourge that has befallen them. How pitiful their empty shells look.
I hope it is not a ploy to lure us in. However, they do appear to be quite dead.
The Xenos is not showing any signs of aggression, simply staring ahead. There's an odd, disoriented quality to its movements. An odd haze obscures your vision. For a moment, you see the metallic corpses at your feet turn into the bodies of soldiers, clad in the colors of your dynasty. Well, glad that's not real. This one looks fine. It's not moving, granted, but... I mean, it's doing, like, idle movement. Holy fuck! Way to stick the landing, asshole! That sure meant something. Out of the corner of your eye, inside the glowing green orb mounted on the contraption, you can see the reflections of people who are not here. They're looking at you curiously and fearfully. Sounds unpleasant. Let's stop looking at it. The Xenos is making the same rhythmic sound over and over, as if trying to say something, losing its train of thought and starting anew every time. Every few moments, the metal particles lose their color and become translucent. You see something dark and formless behind the metal, yearning to be born, but unable to do so. Yet. Few warriors who have risen walk without noticing how their ranks have thinned. This procession is a far cry from the march of annihilation it was meant to be. Broken metallic finger sticks out from between the sarcophagus doors that are slightly ajar. Wriggles weakly. This must be the tech plague. The drawn-out metallic groans form a painful and melancholy melody. one that oozes with venomous spite. The armored plates sing in an unknown language. It feels as though the meaning is on the verge of reaching your mind, unless the monster cuts your life short before that. Grating roar is more like the sound of a metal torture instrument than a sentient being's speech. The Xenos' entire skeletal body is made of an unknown metal, interlaced with greenish energy channels aglow with currents. Below its waist, the flares of a grav pad are humming and rattling. Its upper limbs fuse into a formidable heavy cannon. Not a single part of the monster's body betrays vulnerability. Without a doubt, this is a technologically superb machine designed to annihilate all life. Disabling it will not be easy. I've done it before. We've done no harm to your race. Sound of the vibrating metal plates is both the rhythmic malice of a march and the hollow hum of misery. The lament of an immortal mechanism doomed to eons of wrath and battle, or else an impending demise. Salvo from the monstrous cannon is an infernal orchestral chord that makes the very fabric of space tremble. Why fucking bother, then? That's something I always gotta ask when they do that, like, why even bother giving... is it just because you didn't do the thing that we didn't let you do anyway? So obviously it's your own fault. If I can get her behind it, which I actually can quite easily. The hell is this? Oh yeah, that's her integrity thing, right. Basky, baby, up here. Abel, ready for some caning. And I will be over here, where they can't hit me much. This, I guess. Put the rear here, because I want her to go there to be shooting at it. Called Elegy of Sorrow. Sounds remarkably unpleasant. Nah. I don't see this helping much, actually. Reveal the light. Hold this one in your gaze. You might kill it. You didn't, but you coulda.
High momentum.
No, not like that. Fuck you, game. There we go, though. Hey, that was not the route I wanted her to take. Yeah, ramping up the damage. You know what? One on this guy. Yeah, two. Not just yet. %, my ass. I can't see. The game does not know how to do its own shit. Shouldn't have done that. That was a waste. Well, whatever. Finest hour, Argenta. Not doing that. Here we'll be fine. Oh yeah, you get to live through that because you say you do. Forget about that sometimes. Go ahead and reload. Honestly, I don't need to do anything else on Cassia's turn here. Raise the Undying One. We've somehow managed to extract blood from a Necron. Don't ask me. Line of sight? Since when has that been a rule? Get on up here. Yeah, you'll be fine. I just need some of these to hit you. Yep, like that. And kick the Necron. Yeah, that worked. God, I'm hurt. I can't see anyone from this position, that's fun. Can apparently see this, though. And that. Just go up here and kill that. I guess Pascal doesn't have to have a turn if he doesn't really want one. Yeah, that's all of them down, so we win. Gee, an injury. I wonder how that happened. Dynasty Notebook. Tiny notebook is adorned with the coat of the arms of House von Valancius. Pages made from real paper carry a pleasant scent of perfume, are covered in ruler straight lines of text. The meaning is locked behind an intricate cipher. You do not need to know the contents of it to identify the offer. You know this perfect calligraphic handwriting all too well. Sure. Didn't actually use it on him. There we go. Don't like injuries. Not a mechanic I'm really cool with in this game. Some of these ancient, sacred, and priceless machines are labeled with the Von Valancius property mark. Others bear the stark emblems of the Inquisition. Pascal? The device seems to be connected to the energy system of the crypt and is powering the equipment in the camp, in violation of all operational canons. Ragged breath punctures the oppressive silence of the room. Someone is still alive. Tech Blight voraciously gnaws away at the human metal. Not as eagerly as the walls of the crypt. Telepathy staff. The maimed creature at your feet is still alive, as evidenced by its heavy breathing. It was a woman once, sporting close-cropped hair and equipped for battle. Now her skin is shredded by the metal sticking out of her body in a dozen places. Her body does not appear to have any external injuries. It's been maimed from the inside out. It's as if her flesh was transmuted into metallic shapes that then burst out of her skin and turned her internal organs into a bloody sieve. Some of her exposed bones have a metallic gleam to them, while others still look natural. Can you hear me? The heavy jerk, the woman raises her head, emerging from oblivion and focusing her gaze on you. Even in such a wretched state, her eyes still gleam with self-confidence, zest, and subtle shrewdness. You... Coat of arms rings a bell. One Valancius. Not surprised to see you as you may think. Who are you? The woman tries to salute you. The metal cutting through her tendons has cost her the control of her fingers. Tanakia Calbagaria, Inquisition Acolyte. And by the grace of Lord Inquisitor Calcazar, the Warden of the Epitaph 1 Covert Facility. What's left of it? Happened to you? Been having trouble sleeping lately. Oh, you mean the metal things in my body? No idea. Looks like something's gone terribly wrong in the crypt. Her voice becomes more serious and dry. Specs has detected some unknown radiation, then everything went crazy. Xenos didn't feel like sleeping in their coffins anymore, so they started trashing the place. The pylon I was standing next to suddenly grew a dozen tentacles, and one of them grazed me. I blacked out, and when I came to, it looked like I'd tried to give birth to a shuttle. Looking for Calcazar, where is he? At the facility in the crypt. Making preparations for the emergency launch of the operation's final stage. At least I hope so. Or else he's already dead. Now that I think about it, there are enough reasons to assume the latter. What facility? What operation? Guess you're still young if you don't know that in this world. Whatever the big boys and girls say the word facility, it almost always means a colossal secret weapon capable of destroying worlds. That's all you're gonna get. Would have been very disrespectful of me to spill a secret so many have given their lives to protect. I say. Have I sated your curiosity? I like my favor returned. The pack of low in my breast pocket. Give me one, and you can keep the rest. Feeling very generous today. Take a pack out of the woman's jacket. Good, you're old enough to know what these are for, aren't you? Stick one end of the tube between my teeth and light up the other. Let's make sure you do it the right way. Let's be straight with each other. Nothing to hide now that you're dying. What's going on? Tanaki gives you a long, piercing look, and then speaks, sadness audible in her voice. Straight, huh? Let's give it a try. Taking a shine to you for some reason. One day, Xavier decided to immortalize himself in history in a rather extravagant way. All for the Imperium's sake, of course. And then things didn't go as expected, even though we expected that they wouldn't. Now you'd better get far away from here, because whatever happens next, I doubt you're gonna like it. Or you can go down there. If you have the guts. Maybe you'll immortalize yourself, too. That's what I would do, but I'm insane, so I'm not the best example to follow. Weak smile dances on the woman's lips. So, about that low stick? Enjoy. People say it's bad for your health. I'd better be careful. Does my coat of arms look familiar to you? Oh, I should know. It was on the uniform my agents wore. Ones I sent when Calcazar took an interest in her ladyship Theodora's retinue. Didn't wear them for long, though. I presented Theodora with Calcazar's ultimatum. She purged her retinue of our operatives. Fairly certain Theodora would have preferred to have my head as well. The Lord Inquisitor recalled me here to guard his treasure cave. Just in case Theodora decided to return for what she thought was hers, or the Drakari started causing trouble. How'd your people infiltrate? A feint. Deception. Game of double and triple crosses. They told her they intended to take revenge on Calcazar, she believed them. She was just too eager to get back at the Lord Inquisitor for taking her clever Archmagos advisor, Amarnat. You know Conrad Voigtveer? Not sure if he's still alive. Back then, he was Theodora's Master of Whispers. In theory, he should have been the one to out my operatives as spies. Instead, he thought they were his chance to pull off a brilliant plot and prove to his mummy how great an heir he would become. It's true what they say about blondes. Every other one is as thick as mince. What was the ultimatum you gave her?
Merely a message saying her dirty secret was now our dirty secret. She was the first to visit Epitaph. She found something here. Something too good even for someone of her exalted status. Rogue traders are not allowed to have such toys, and I relayed the most exact coordinates down to the last digit after the decimal point to the Lord Inquisitor. Drakari have come to this world? Why? The Xeno freaks are my favorite partners. They had a crucial role to play in the operation that you mustn't know about anything about. The visits to Epitaph left me with so many unforgettable moments. We were ordered not to fire on them first, but to split them into atoms if their skinny asses deviated so much as a single degree from their approved flight paths. And I swear, it was as if those fools were trying to get shot at with their half-witted provocations. They even had a nickname for me. The Almost Witch. Compliment, I guess. From them? Kind of. Here, witches are, I wouldn't say well-liked, but respected. It's different, very different things for Drakari. I don't know if Drakari like anything, actually. I'm Ingoth von Valancius, Theodore's heir. You have to excuse me for not looking surprised. My facial nerves seem to be partially paralyzed. But I gathered as much. Hardly mistake you for our spectacular Void She-Wolf, after all. If she were alive, she definitely wouldn't have come here in person. You're the heir? At least it's not Conrad. Yeah, I killed good old Cumrag. Fucking dickhead. I actually already know the answer to this, so now I know enough. Sure you do. Labor. Lips move slightly, as if trying to whisper something. The shock mutes them, turning her voice into a gurgle. Her body, mindless and desperate, is only prolonging the pointless agony by clinging to its last bleeding shreds of life. Box is filled with a cast metal insignia like the ones worn by Theodore's bodyguards. Some of them have splatters of dried blood on them. Judging by the imposing design of these obelisks, passage leads to a tomb intended for Xenos of a higher status. The elevator system leading to the deeper section of the crypt was installed a long time ago, it seems. Every bolt is stamped with your dynasty coat of arms. Sanguine Thirst, a one-handed axe. Our axe deals +9 damage to bleeding targets. It's the first attack against a bleeding target. This attack has no cooldown. Attacks have a special attack to inflict bleeding. Blood Fury Cloak. When the wearer kills an enemy with a melee attack, their attack limit is removed until the end of their turn. Every one of their attacks also deals 10% of the wearer's maximum wounds direct damage to the wearer. Wow. That sounds terrible. There is barely holding. Prepare for defense. In the name of the Golden Throne, hold the line. The Xenos Knight lets out a clanging howl, portending imminent death. Crypto-Geometric Sentinel. Immunity of Deathless. Creatures immune to the following effects. Cannot attack, fatigue, disturb, toxin, perplex, horrors of the warp. Mental damage dealt to this creature is reduced by half, and machine damage is increased 30%. His wounds drop to 0, it falls prone, gains 30% max wounds, temporary wounds. Come on. Yeah. Creature has no other allies, base wounds more than 0, it and its allies dies. Restores 10% of its max wounds at the start of each turn. Also gains toughness %, armor bonus, and difficulty tier deflection. Creature is currently affected by reanimation protocol, does not gain any armor. Creature may suffer a negative effect at the start of each turn due to the tech blight. Chances and outcomes are as follows. 5% chance to be immobilized, stunned, staggered, suffer 20% of its max wounds, or suffer necrodermis instability. Alright, it doesn't seem to have that immune to damage from all but one side ability. Unfortunately, I went kind of the wrong direction to be getting through here.
getting to that thing, but I think I can force Argenta out there far enough. Yeah, with her motion, I should be able to do that. Oh yeah, there's this guy up here. That'll be the one I take care of. Maybe. Yeah, Argento will probably kill that anyway. Alright, you will be the front lines because I want you to die the most. Making you take extra damage is the best way to do it. Backline. The rear... here it should be fine. Just enough for Argenta to move into it. Speaking of Argenta...
High momentum.
Go here should be fine. And now we play the shooting game. Love seeing the damage very slowly build up. And then it'll hit a breaking point where it's not slow anymore. I'm sure it's saying something, but for the life of me, I don't know what. Got him! Alright, now Argenta. Go do a little bit more murder. You know what? Start with this asshole.
Reassemblement commencing.
These guys tough. These are all weaklings. Kill all of them. Also, these guys way far away. That one's a little strong. That guy's out of range.
Reassemblement commencing. Insignificant. High momentum.
Hey, you know what? Yuck. You see this guy? No, you can't. You see that far? You can! I can make you my new target for this. You just love Argenta? I certainly do. I'm immensely pissed that because of with random bullcrap that I genuinely had no way of foreseeing. Ulfar's just gone from the game. I'm also pissed that the game decided that since my reason couldn't be anything other than the arbitrary one they decided, I lost out on Nomos for this last thing. So, you know, things just falling apart during the end, like Owlcat's games almost always do. I shouldn't be shocked, but I still am. Let's not let this one get back up.
The dynasty will rise.
Owie. Villa can... Yeah, she can get to this guy.
Awakening cannot be stopped.
Now, acrobatic mass artistry to get back where you started. It has been a while since I've had a good use for that ability. Outside of being very aggressive with it. But, yeah, I know, I'm... I don't have anything else to give her more movement points, unfortunately. Oh, you got back up. How unfortunate for you. Not be... Oh, right, forgot. Should have only done that. Only aimed at that guy. That was... not done properly. Oopsies. Yeah, I know. I was leading my thing over there. I do not like that the camera forces itself backwards sometimes. And... kick the Xenos. Wrong animation, but love your flair, girl. What's this do again? Oh, yeah. Probably could have used that at some point.
Reassemblement commencing.
Did you just speak English? Missed me! Abelard, you didn't get to really shine this game. Do the genuinely impossible and use a regular-ass sword to chop a goddamn Necron in half. I'm not kidding when I say that's not something you can do. That is not something that just happens. Pascal. So got that plasma gun? Show him what it's for.
Significant.
You know what? Banish the machine spirit. You know what? Look at him. He's an idiot. And I'm all the way up here. Can I see anything from here? No. As per usual. See something from here, at least. Might even be able to kill that guy. Especially if I get in my perfect spot. And mark you as prey for fun. Killed him. Actually, not quite. Let's claim the bounty on him anyway. Yeah, killed him. Alright, Cassia. Kibella should be able to get up there. So she shall be the target.
High momentum.
Get her to move first. That ought to help. And up there, Reckless Rush will get you all the way up there, girl. Just get there and just start hacking away at him. Again, with normal swords, but... What? Fucking excuse me? You're not getting away with that.
Will not undo me.
Loss of Warrior's formidable underframe can no longer bear its weight. With armor plates clanging, its great bulk slumps. Deep sound full of rage and tragic despair is born in its chest. Oh yeah, I didn't decipher the language. Like, that was something that was made clear to me I could have done at some point. I sure wasn't given that opportunity. I found a thing that was talking about how it was trying to decipher their language, and I downloaded it, but that didn't do anything, so I'm guessing it's glitched. Notice the convulsions in the Xenos' limbs. The light is flickering in his eyes. Perhaps something went wrong during this monster's awakening from stasis, damaging his engrams and plunging him into madness. What are you? Xenos' limbs shiver at the sound of your voice. It emits a deep hum full of dour pride. You're unable to decipher it, but you can sense his disdainful rage and stern resolve to kill you. This is neither the dispassion of a prowling beast nor the blind rage of insanity, but the instinct of a warrior. Their watch is over. Please die like a warrior. Xenos dies with a piercing howl of wrath. There's no fear in these sounds. Only the stubbornness of a true warrior with a touch of regret at his defeat. A terrible rumble comes from somewhere deep inside the crypt as soon as the green fire goes out in the fallen warrior's eyes. The glow of the glyphs upon the walls becomes chaotic and disarrayed. Something just broke irreparably in this crypt. I'm gonna call that not good. And I'm still gonna call it annoying that you can't loot the Necrons. I know their weapons are busted, and in lore you're not supposed to be able to, but it still eliminates a lot of the fun of battle. Evac the shield. Lord Inquisitor is expecting the rogue trader below. Like, a lot of the fun of the RPG fight is looting afterwards, and if there's no loot, you've killed a lot of the fun. I'm expected, huh? Surviving soldiers bear grave wounds inflicted by Gauss weapons, and the most skilled chirurgeon would likely be powerless to heal them. Bulky device whose machine spirit is continuously weaving a protective force field. This must be what's holding the Xenos at bay. While looking at its unsteady flickering, one cannot help but wonder how long this barrier will last. That doesn't look like something we should be fucking with, and yet I get the distinct impression Calcazar's fucking with it. fucking excuse me? Are those me? Those me in different classes. Reality bubbles before you and bursts with an agonizing shriek. A few silhouettes now stand in your way. 3 of them seem to have your face, yet the differences are striking. Each has been marked by other accomplishments and different experiences, making you feel like the protagonist of a tale about a pair of twins separated at birth. Merciful reflection. You're sentient creatures and not mere eidolons. I suggest you back down without a fight. Not come here to claim your lives. Cursed reflection. My master, changer of ways, is this your making? No, I can feel it is not. You're not playing tricks on me, you are sending me prey for a great sacrifice. Just one moment, please. Alright, sorry. Dealing with something else right now. Glorious reflection. There's some ironic lesson in what is going on? Should I be looking in the mirror a little less? Perhaps try to look at myself from the outside. Is this a hint that I'm my own worst enemy? Shall ponder this in my memoir. Look at where they came from. The blatant abuse of the fabric of existence is causing the motes of reality to flare up. See the mirages of the Cronus Expanse in their glow, altered past recognition by the decisions you made, or could have made in some other world. Who are you? Glorious reflection. Your replica smiles in understanding. I am Ungoth von Valancius the Magnificent. And if I know myself, which I most certainly do, you are now pondering what that makes you. The answer is simple. You are my reflection from a less glorious reality, product of the malign influence of the treasure that I seek. Some refer to me as the Warden of the Expanse, but prefer being addressed simply as Ungoth. Nice to meet you, me from a different version of existence. The last doppelganger smiles coyly. Speaking of me, I am the only version of ourselves who chose the path of true power. I serve the Master, the Changer of Ways, and I already chanced upon my reflections in his dreams. It is why I am the only one without a dumbstruck expression on my face. So you're me. I see now. You're a Von Valancius from a reality of impenetrable dullards. No, it's you who are me. Seem to think you're better than the rest of us, don't you? And yet I was the only one clever enough to become the master of my own fate, not be reduced to someone else's plaything or a slave to dogma. Why do you seek to enter the crypt? Came to claim the treasure. Whatever it is, Theodore found it, which makes it mine. Saber will regret trying to steal from my dynasty. Doppelganger smirks. The doppelganger's slightly accelerated speech, jerky movements, and the sweet twinkle in his eyes suggest that his blood is teeming with euphoric stimulants. He's high. And I become very principled and vengeful where my treasure hoard is concerned. Wonder how you acquired such an ego. A lack of pointless advice, I presume? The day Conrad killed Theodora, all of her officers died with her, including Mort, Abelard, Idira, Ravor, Vigdis. When I came into my inheritance, there was no one to teach me how to be a rogue trader. Handled everything myself, found out who Theodora von Valancius really was. A narcissistic, unscrupulous, self-serving bitch who lied to everyone. I admit I regretted not getting the chance to know her better. I embraced her principles and realized that literally everyone in the Cronus Expanse was out to take advantage of me. The Drusians and the Pirates, the Adeptus Mechanicus and the Casbalica, Calcazar and Uralon. Though the puppet pulled at the strings and made its master's dance. Dare say things turned out well for me. I would ask your lordship to watch your language as you speak of her ladyship Theodora. I do not know how it is in your reality, but in ours, it is customary to mind one's manners. Shut up, servant. In our reality, it's customary for lackeys not to interfere in the affairs of their betters. Ah, Tisiphone. My sworn friend and the most overbearing shrew in all the Expanse. Of course you're here as well. Copy nods meaningfully at Cassia. Nice to see you in the thick of things as usual. The mention of the former Novator of the house makes Cassia flinch. What? I think you mistake me for someone else. Indeed. This rancid reality, you're some kind of pathetic parody of yourself. How fucking funny that the pathetic parody would say that. You are the parody of what a rogue trader is supposed to be. Quite the epitome of hubris, greed, and brazenness. It's what being a rogue trader is all about. Simply lack the imagination to grasp it. So one of my versions chose to serve the archenemy. I do not serve, I reign. You grovel, but I dominate and rise ever higher. You notice the replica is sporting elaborate makeup. Under a layer of powder, the doppelganger's face looks strange, its skin covered in wrinkles. Somehow they remind you of closed eyelids. Idira opens her mouth, and you see the blackness between her teeth in place of her tongue. 100 otherworldly warp voices speak instead of her voice. Master requests a sacrifice, a living sacrifice. Toss them into the warp. Their paths will be unraveled and woven into yours. Why'd you come to Epitaph? My master, the Changer of Ways, directed me here and revealed my destiny. This is where I will cut short the life of the Corpse Emperor's champion and claim the great trophy. This is where I am fated to become one with the warp. You are disgusting. You won't believe how little I care about what you think. Seem to be the only one who isn't trying to pick a fight? I do not enjoy pointless violence. Power and authority can always be used for a more worthy purpose. Well, almost always. Fortunately, sometimes violence does have a point. It gives me a little pleasure even then. So what brings you to this place, most peaceful one? Duty. I do not know what exactly Xavier has in mind, but judging by his past actions, he'll be ambitious and terrible. He must be stopped. Lord Xenos failed. Double appears to be quite discomfited. Nervously clutches an oddly shaped talisman in his fist. You do not possess such an item. Damn. That required really high. Why do you care so much about other people? I've been taught some harsh lessons. When Conrad staged the coup, I was badly wounded. Abelard nursed me back to health. So did the entire crew. He looked after me in the Protectorate for months while I was in limbo. Dark and joyless sleep in which I only heard Theodora's last words. Protect my people. When I awoke, I vowed to do exactly that. To be not a master to my people, but their protector and their champion. Abelard. Your Abelard shares a look of understanding and deep respect with the Seneschal from the alternate reality. Scars upon your soul bleed in ashen azure. Yet your heart is bursting with flares of the most incredible hues. Crystal clear colors without any additions or impurities. A pure heart. I had all but forgotten they existed. What's your reality like? Think it has less bloodshed than yours. Brought peace to the Expanse, soothed the flame of Incendia's zeal, stopped Caligos from falling to vileness. Two of us even managed to become friends. Sheltered the Eldari refugees, convinced them to join forces to fend off the Drakari. Granted pardon to the pirates and renegades who strayed not out of malice, but because they had nowhere else to go. Calcazar called me a heretic, but no one else paid heed to that castigation. Fellowship of the Void became a respectable merchant guild. Woodame shed almost all his thuggish habits. Died when Xavier turned footfall into a colossal projectile. She crashed into Euphrates too after it was captured by Urlon the Cruel. Thousands died that day. Tens of thousands were safely evacuated by Vladim, and I welcomed them to Dargonis. Wish I could visit your universe. Seems to be brighter and kinder than mine. It's never too late to create it around you. We let this one live? I don't know. Situation has just become complicated. How are we going to resolve it? Afraid we have no choice but to fight. Sin on this world imperils the millions of lives for which I am responsible. For their sake, I'll crush any opponent. Unless you all retreat without a fight. Ah, man, that sucks. Hey, nothing personal, but I gotta stop him from unleashing crazy shit in my world, too. And I see we are outnumbered compared to you, Doppelganger. I think it would be wise to join forces to help you first, and then resolve the conflict between those who have survived. I concur. We'll finish off the one with the biggest retinue first, then decide who's worthy of the prize. However, I already know who it's going to be. I'm giving you a chance to settle this affair peacefully and avoid self-destruction. In every sense of the word. More than one Von Valancius walks away from here, the spoils will have to be shared. And rogue traders never share. Well, Adira the Insidious, Abelard the Virtuous. Glorious reflection. I really do hate to tell you all, but, I'm just gonna level with you. You guys didn't bring a, none of you bothered to bring an Argenta, so I've already won. Jesus. Or just hit a can while you... Stop! Do that somewhere else, dude. I'm not gonna can over and over again. Alrighty then. Get rid of these two first, they're the grossest. Suppose I should do this. They survive with just a little, now they won't. Argenta, bring it down.
High momentum.
Alright, like this won't have a chance of hitting Cabela. I fucked that up.
That won't stop me.
Good. Eventually.
Bloodied yet still standing.
Not for long.
Unpleasant. Is that...
Alright, the worst one's gone. Good job, us. I don't know why I did that. Now, Argenta? Do it again. Sorry about that one nice version of me. Nothing personal.
unpleasant?
Oh, Argenta, you get to kill Adira a second time. Good job. It's just like you always probably wanted, maybe. Alright, Virtuous Abelard, I really do hate to do this to you. I don't enjoy what's happened here, you being left alone like this. It's not something I enjoy, but I am going to laser you slightly.
I've suffered worse.
Oh, that's what you're doing.
An exemplary strike!
You just brace for impact. Alright, let's show him what's good. Of course, he can't be pushed under brace for impact, so... Can still do this, though. Yeah. Sorry. Digital Abelard. Digital. Da-da-da. Not great. Check the Mies. Glorious. Anti-vehicle revolver. Auto-striking power sword. Panoply of the assassin. It's all okay, but not stuff I'd use. Merciful one. Solar staff. Oh yeah, the Merciful Me was also a psyker, apparently. Oh, this one had a Melta. Life-draining sword. A Staff of Shock and Awe. Demon World Origin. That's not an available origin, I don't think. Or maybe that one is from that. Everybody get the extra AP. Because everybody max level now. Is it fucked up that the heretical version of me still had an Adira, but I don't? Like, I let Argenta kill mine. Does that say something? Actually, no. It actually does say something. That it was the right call to kill her. Pascal, what's this? One of the image stands out among the rest. Likely used to be a symbol of an ancient Xenos dynasty. Memory core connection. Eliminate. That tells me fucking nothing. How's that down there? Exodus Longlass. I don't use las rifles, but looks friggin' cool. Oh. If I were Iconoclast, it'd be really strong. But I'm not. Where does not lose the elusive effect of the attack from cover? I don't use the elusive effect. Tech Blade has barely affected the bridge, but almost completely devastated the xenostructures below. Does it affect more advanced technology faster, maybe? Oh, more fighting going on. Rosary of Defense. Where has a number of unyielding beacon stacks, chance to ignore any incoming damage. What's Abelard have on right now? As this, but he doesn't really need the stats off it, frankly. Like, he does not need the skill points off that. So he can just have chance to not take damage. Not that he needs it. Pascal? As soon as you touch the obelisk, disjointed streams of alien information flood your mind, making you nauseous. Try again, we have a ton of these. Okay, apparently no amount of reattempting does it. That's pretty lame. The first time I've ever even tried to use a multi-tool. Lord Inquisitor, progressing according to plan. Our troops have reached the target. Anything that'd shoot at me. But it will. Hang on. Fucking stop! Get rid of Abelard's injuries. Not that they do that much, but I still don't like them. They did not test the camera in this game. The destructive web of the tech blight is spreading along the walls of the crypt. Yeah, don't enter combat or anything. That would only be sensible for a video game. When something starts shooting at me. No, just react to it in real time in a turn-based game. Was Abelard the only one who got hit through all that shit? Still. I wish I hadn't used all those medkits, but it also didn't matter that I did even when I was doing it, so... Or heck, maybe this wouldn't have counted as a heal. Who knows? Alcazar. See that you do not heed my warnings, Ngoth. Your decision to come here in spite of them may have consequences. We still have a chance to turn it to everyone's advantage. Your lordship listens to me very carefully. With all due respect to you, Lord Inquisitor, I shall ask you to refrain from any further threats directed toward the Blessed Road Trader, lest you face repercussions from me. How courteous of you to warn me, Master Wassarian. I'll remember your words. Line you are treading is a dangerous one, Calcazar. Stop this madness. You're the one who is attempting something mad and dangerous by acting with insolence toward me. By the Emperor and Goth, I am in no mood to squabble with a rogue trader, not even your recently installed lordship. That what you're here for? What is it? We call it a shard. Son of a bitch. And yes, as you have noted quite aptly, it is the reason I'm here. This construct contains an ancient, or rather pre-ancient, being of cosmic power. They were called the Catan. Son of a fuck. The entity is currently trying to escape, and I'm here to collar it. Calcazar nods at the giant device, whose design clearly points to it having been brought into the crypt from outside. What is it doing here, and what is it? Specimen of an ancient predator race, devourers of pulsars who feasted on star systems. Reality itself bent to their power. Many millennia ago, an ancient Xenos race managed to defeat them, shatter them into pieces, and lock them away in prisons like the one you see before you. Do you think you stand a chance against such power? Do you mean to say that a human is not capable of such a feat? But I am not just a human. I am an instrument of the Emperor's will, one of many, and the Imperium is omnipotent. If I were to fail, another would follow in my footsteps. And that is how humanity makes the impossible possible, with the hands of particular people in particular circumstances. Your skepticism is unwarranted. While taming this creature helped save the Imperium. Over my years of service, I've come to realize the main problem that humanity faces in this war is the imbalance in power. Our opponents are not races or nations, but incomprehensible monsters. And it is high time we acquired one of our own. We have one of those, it's called the God Emperor. You just called him a monster? I called him incomprehensible. You're the one that's still using the word monster, my guy. Why would we need anything else when the God Emperor's with us, jackass? My yoke will bind this creature and make it a changed god serving the Emperor. This is not the full extent of my vision. There are other shards similar to this one scattered across the galaxy. I plan on seeking them out and confining them all inside the yoke. Each conquered monstrosity will bolster our defenses. Fear. I hear nothing but fear in your words. It was fear that made you believe that His grace alone is not enough to stand against the rising tide of darkness. It was fear that convinced you to seek salvation in the abyss of Xenos filth. You are no guardian of the Imperium. You are just a greedy old coward. Still have questions? Given the circumstance of our meeting, I do not see why I should hide anything. Seriously doubt you'll share this information with anyone else, for one reason or another. How'd this thing end up in your possession? Thanks to your predecessor. I arrived in the Expanse at the call of the Explorer fleet to deal with Archmagos Amonat's heresy. But I quickly came to the realization the Coronis Expanse's problems ran much deeper than tech heresy. Unprecedented piracy running wild, blatant smuggling of Xeno artifacts, willful and impetuous rogue traders, and growing threat of the ruinous powers. All this in a region that the Drukhari consider their domain. Frankly, I considered purging the entire Expanse. Would have been much easier to burn down this whole tangle of threats and corruption. The web of spies I had woven presented me with much more interesting and radical solutions. Investigating Amonat's connections, I turned my eye to Theodora von Valancius, who ultimately gave me the shard. How the hell is she involved? Theodora's instincts were uncanny. She spent decades hunting for a key that could open the dimensional gate, as if she knew there was something incredible waiting for her on the other side. Her ladyship was lucky enough to discover the shard during one of her expeditions. A trophy that was too much for her to handle. Archmagos Amonat studied it on Theodora's behalf, creating weapons in exchange for access to the dangerous relic. Their research was too primitive and unambitious compared to the true power contained inside the shard. I had one of my own acolytes, Tanakia, send her spies to Theodora. They infiltrated the rogue trader's retinue, earned their trust, reported to me about this magnificent object. The rest was trivial. I seized Epitaph and laid down the conditions of our further coexistence. She was wise enough to concede defeat with dignity. I commenced Operation Precious Sentinel. I left a garrison on Epitaph, took the key to the dimensional gate from Theodora, sealed the gate, started the creation of the yoke. I kept Theodora and her heirs in my sights, just in case. Not long before her death, I assigned Heinrichs to her, in order to rendezvous with him on Rykad Minoris. Your lordship inherited him instead. I admit I wasn't aware of you. Theodora managed to keep a secret heir up her sleeve. So instead of eradicating Theodora's misdeeds, you chose to inherit them. Gritting his teeth, Abelard says quietly, "In the old days, House von Lancius would have declared war over something like this. Fought till the offender was dead. Hell is the yoke?" A containment device similar to this one, except better. The yoke was devised by the brightest minds of two races using the ancient wisdom of a long-gone Xeno civilization. A prison capable not only of holding the Catan Shard, but also of controlling it or releasing fractions of its being. An instrument of obedience and destruction. A masterpiece whose creation required immense effort. It was made on Euphrates too. I captured Amonat's student, Axiomantha. She passed all of her mentor's drafts to me. And the one overseeing the process was none other than your acquaintance, the tech priest Cubus Delphim. His fall was regrettable. Seems that the unorthodox, daring things he did at my behest drove him to break his vows and sink into heresy. But the human mind could never have comprehended the shard alone. Thus I appealed to the inhuman mind. I struck a deal with the Drukhari. Theft of sacraments and secrets of the Adeptus Mechanicus. Registered. Inciting a devout tech priest to commit heresy. Registered. Sneezes from the House von Valancius representative Ungoth. Registered, but muted. Blasphemous merging of sacred technologies with forbidding ones. Registered. Further transgression registration discontinued. The drill in Pascal's mechadendrite screeches in fury. You collaborated with the Drukhari? Alas, the operation demanded it. Through the agents of one of my acolytes, Emelina, I contacted Archon Eremerus and made a pact. I gave her access to the technologies contained within this relic, destroyed her rivals in the Cabal.
She would relay information on their raids to my spies, and I would solve the problem. In exchange, her homunculus, Tervantius, forged the yoke for me. Of course, I did not let him near the shard itself, but rather set up a laboratory for him on Quetzaltemur. It was safer that way. All the pieces were contributing to my plan, but none had enough information to comprehend the entirety of it. Why do they want the shard? It's one of the most complicated and perfect creations of a race much older than the Drakari. It's no mere object, but the treasure trove of technology. Wise master could uncover many secrets simply by observing it. Sound strategy. Trust me, your lordship, the threat of the aliens pales in comparison to that posed by the ruinous powers. Not untrue. Eremeris could plunder 1,000 worlds, but she is no Urlon the Cruel, whom I killed. The disruption, she was as great a danger to her own kin as she was to the Imperium. The disruption she caused among the Drakari was only to our benefit. She intended to trigger a powerful disjunction in Comarog, thereby destroying her rivals and elevating her own cabal in the process. Knowing full well how precarious her grand plan was, I made no attempt to talk her out of it. Little luck, we wouldn't have had need worry about Comarog's influence. This new information about a pact, combined with the astro observation data collected in this star system, resolves the inconsistencies identified earlier. Unit Xavier Calcazar stands accused of stealing the astrographic records of the Cognizance fleet. I am amazed by your analytical prowess. Yes, I needed stars to feed the shard. The Cabal of the Reaving Tempest could steal them and bring them here. But it was imperative to preserve the exact energy parameters so as not to trigger the object's premature detonation. I procured the necessary information on suitable stars from the Explorer Fleet's data scriptorium. Registering at Category 1 blasphemy, Unit Xavier Calcazar is hereby sentenced to intravital dissection and study. Upon the cessation of vital functions, the unit's remains must be disposed of in disgrace. And then I take it you decide to get rid of your Xenos allies? There was no more need for them, seeing as the yoke was almost complete and the situation was escalating out of control. Theodora was dead, Cult of the Final Dawn had reared its head and was preparing to strike, and Eremeris had forgotten her place. She was putting forward too many elimination requests, and when I told her to curb her appetite, she retaliated. The theft of the Rykat star was timed to occur when Master Van Kellox would be on the planet. The Archon wanted to rob me of one of my agents and send me a message. And then the Coronis Expanse was engulfed in flame. I had to rush the operation and declare sector-wide martial law. The webway gate that Eremeris' warriors had been using was destroyed on the facility on Quetzaltemur raised. I don't know why playing this game gives me so much mucus. I evacuated the half of the yoke that Tervantius had completed. It was too late to retrieve the second half from Euphrates II. Cubus Delphim revealed to Urlon the Cruel where he should strike, and that almost spelt the end of Operation Precious Sentinel. I appreciate your efforts in resolving this problem. In fact, you turned out to be much more useful than Theodora ever was. Denizens of the Rykat system, Santiel's Pride, and all the other starless worlds. You were the one who sentenced them to death by sending the Drakari after their sons. Well noted. Yes, I acted as their executioner, as regrettable as those losses were. However, to overestimate their importance to the Imperium would have been folly. Every single day, humanity pays a far more terrible price, and that must be brought to an end. Why'd you call for the Astartes to come to your aid? I needed a remarkably strong force to keep my Xenos allies in check. The Emperor's Angels were just the weapon I was looking for, except, considering the sensitive nature of my operation, I couldn't very well risk requesting aid from my allies in the Death Wash, could I? Then I remembered an old debt owed to me by a Space Wolves Great Company, so I decided to call in a favor. They were an asset at first. The Wolves helped me close the Dimensional Gate by overwhelming its security systems. I tasked them with hunting the Xenos condemned by Eremeris. Eventually they started crying, and that was unacceptable.
I could control Thorvald by giving him more tempting targets, but the baleful Howl Pack... They raided an outpost where my agents had been meeting with the Drakari. The pack took prisoners, but lost the esteemed brother Ulfar. I hoped they would give their all to the search, but instead the wolves forced this system's coordinates out of the captives and came crashing down on my head. They had no gate to transport them. They used nothing but their warp engines. Thankfully, they realized their situation too late, so Tanakia managed to neutralize them. I say, come so far in pursuit of answers, Ngoth. It'd be too cruel to leave your curiosity unsatisfied. Seeing as the inhabitants of this place almost killed you, I gather that something went wrong with this plan of yours. Not at all. Operation Precious Sentinel is in its final stages. The increase in Xenos activity is a vexing yet trivial development in the grand scheme of things. They were supposed to guard the device, but they slipped through the intrusion. Only the Catan Shard's emanations could make them stir. Theodore's research destabilized the Shard's prison. My project only made it worse. Whenever particles of the Catan Shard's energy seep out, many curious phenomena occur. Destruction of the crypt, the warped reality. When I tame the monster, I'll order it to stop disrupting the laws of the universe. And that brings us to the most interesting part of our conversation. You know my plan, so now I want to know yours. You admit that I'm in the right and join me in this undeniably ambitious act, or will you try to stop me? I'll be upfront with you. If it is the latter, I'll be forced to remove you. I'm sure you realize that already. I assumed. That's the second time you've threatened to the Lord Captain. Listen to yourself. What you're planning is heresy. Enough, Ngoth. It'll only be heresy if I lose. If I prevail, it will be a triumphant feat in the name of saving humanity from the horrors of this universe, and I will not lose. And I'll let you bring this insane plan to fruition. The Inquisitor nods calmly. There's not a shred of hatred or disappointment in his face. Oh well then. Glad you made your acquaintance, Ngoth. Despite everything. Lance's his retinue. Eliminate the rogue trader. You made a mistake, Calcazar. You let me bring Argenta in here. Oh dear, is that who that is? I'm noticing a potential problem in my plan, then. Going on? Inquisition presence. Psi rating decreased by 2. Wizard's aura decreases the psi rating of psychers within 4-cell radius by 2. Luckily, I don't have any psychers on my team. Like, literally none. Actually, probably Abelard here to better defend, and, Pasky, you deal with these guys, whatever they feel like being about. And me, I will be... There's not really a safe place for me to wait from, so I'll be in a safe-ish place. Safe-isher than that. Safe here. What do you mean, no fucking hell? Alright, I was half expecting that to just explode if I tried to use it against him, which would have been really funny. But I know.
High momentum.
Start stacking up the damage, Argenta. He actually has a lot of dodge. He has 45 stacks of degraded defense. Which is wonderful. Extermination. Any damage the character deals increased by 1 for every attack they have made this combat. He hasn't made an attack. I don't know what that's about. Yeah, spit.
High momentum.
Alright, Argenta. You're not done yet. Got him.
High momentum.
Lots of kills, Argenta. Lots and lots of kills. And then this. Nice job. Now reload. No line of... Fuck you mean? You don't have to... Alright, fine. We'll be reckless then. And kick the Texorcist by pointing at him. Don't ask me. Laser this guy in the brain. I should have moved the thing over here. Alright, get this Inquisition veteran. Yeah, that got him. Kick the Texorcist. Then shoot this guy. Ah yeah, the guy over there still has a turn left.
Here we go.
I feel like something real bad just happened in front of me, and I didn't do shit to stop it. Alright, I think... Yeah, there's only Texorcists left, so, Gabella, wanna kill these guys? You got some of them. I can actually see this last guy. I can get the kill. Go for it, me.
No.
How the fuck did he get over
It's
here?
too early. The yoke must be activated, or all is lost.
It really is cool that I'm not trying to stop him at all. That I apparently just let him fucking do that. Oh, look. What the fuck did he think was gonna happen? Oh dear. Walk bravely first into darkness. Catan Shard. Oh, look at that. It's as statted out as the fucking... 50 deflection, 13,000 health, 250% armor, 94% dodge. It actually has natural 102, but I'm slightly decreasing it. Yeah, that was cool. All from a modifier. Immunity of Deathless. Quantum Cognition. As long as any shard copy or the energy orb remain, each time it's attacked, the Catan Shard will gain a stack of reconceptualization and trigger reflective retribution on the attacker. The fuck does that mean? I'd sure like to know what you're gonna ask me to do here, game, because I get the feeling you don't want me to actually fight this fucking thing. Because, frankly, I don't believe you'd throw me in a fight like this. And let it be real. I feel like this is a gimmick that I don't understand. So I'm gonna pause until I figure it out. Alright, I looked it up. Apparently you are just supposed to fight this thing. Oh hey, I can actually save here. How kind. I foresee a problem arising at some point, but we'll get to that when it happens. For now, we shall simply go unto where we can. Will Argenta one-turn it? Probably not at that much fucking health. But I can try. Especially by degrading its defense very quickly. Got an awful lot of defense and deflection, but maybe I can burst through it with enough raw bullets.
High momentum.
A prominence cannot damage.
Well, this'll slowly wear it down.
The threads of purpose are unraveling.
For example, it's, yeah, it is getting its defense degraded slowly. That'll help the other characters. I just sure hope it doesn't have free teleports, which is... It will. I know it will. I don't know why I'm acting like I think it won't. It's going to teleport as soon as it feels like it wants to.
The threads of purpose are unraveling.
Slowly wearing away at its defenses, though. Alright, that's puts a bit of a damper on things that I didn't get the thing right away. Hold it in your gaze. That actually did a shitload of damage, wow. Alright, what's it gonna do? It just teleported all of us to different locations. That's exceptionally stupid. I have never heard such a terrible idea for a position-based game. What if we just made it so the enemy, you know... What if the enemy just suddenly makes them all be in new locations, and so we don't get to let the player actually decide? Where's Argenta been sent? She's right here, okay.
Moment of integrity gone.
Yeah, I don't trust that 0%. I'm gonna level with you, game. This should do something. Do not adjust your television screen. This is how fast the game's actually running. Apparently I broke some kind of... Oh good, it got to just take 0 damage for the rest of those because it hit a thing. That's really fair and cool of the game to do, you know? You know, every time I play a game, I think, you know, the enemy should get to just ignore taking damage from me. It's really not fair that I can hit them. At least Argenta's keeping its stupid bullcrap dead. Didn't really do much of anything, but okay. Oh no, it just made another fucking energy orb. And so long as at least one of those is on the field, I take damage every time I try to hit it. And he can just do that every turn because he can, and it doesn't matter. Let me see, what can I do? Abelard, I don't understand why the game insists on making them leave. That's not how this system works. You're supposed to be able to stay within their range and it doesn't provoke an attack of opportunity. But anytime you try to go like this, the game insists, oh, you want to leave their range to do this, that you must want to. I mean, no, I don't. Very unlikely to work. Didn't hit. Why would that be unavailable? Follow my lead. Job. Hit me, baby. Where the hell's Pascal in all this? Oh, this thing. He's with this thing. Huh. Oh, it can actually be damaged by banishing its machine spirit. That's interesting. Go over there, please. Alright, what are you gonna do this turn? Take a fuckload of damage. How's it pointing at? This thing? Alright. I'll be getting into my perfect spot now. You are my prey. I'll be culling the bold. This gun actually scales off enemy deflection, so holy fuck. Yeah, that might help. I'm not going to use this because the game broke last time I tried to. That is my only reason to do so. Yep. That is the most dumb damage I've ever done. Over 1,000 in a single shot. Alright, there's the shard. I'm sure it just did something I hate, but by God, I'm not sure what. First of all, Argenta, it's your finest hour. Make it so, Argenta. Maybe from here would... yeah, that's better. In fact, you might kill it outright. Unless it, you know, does its thing where it just decides it's not going to take damage anymore. Your trap will be unmade. Yep, it decided it didn't want to take damage anymore, so it's not. And the game doesn't know how to reconcile that happening at the same time as it getting shot, so, you know. If my DM did this, I think I'd actually kill them in real life. That's the thing I have to say about a lot of the Owlcat games. Whenever they do something in their fights, I have... a lot of their fights, it's like, Wow, if I was playing this as the actual tabletop game, I would physically assault the DM if they said, alright, you hit it, but you hit a certain breakpoint, so you don't do damage anymore the rest of the round. Well, the game is really struggling. Actually went unresponsive for a split second there. There it goes. Oh, is that what we're doing now, huh? You just get to, for free, steal my character's turn and lock them up. Just for free. No checks, no rolls, no nothing. You just get to, because you say you do. And that's all you have to do, game. You just have to say so. Cabela. Move one step over and carve him up.
Moments of integrity.
The game sure is freaking the fuck out that I'm doing this, though.
The threads of purpose unravel.
This is a prime example of how poor this game's performance actually is. 500. That's our girl. Make your blood oath. Hang on, da-da-da. Dispatch your mark. Oh, is that so? It doesn't work because you say it doesn't? Alright, laser his brain out. 500 damage, that's pretty brain lasery. What do you mean, not enough action points? It costs 2? Fuck you! That wasn't part of the deal! Oh, he's taking someone every turn. Alright, well he's dying this turn, so, Cabela. Hey, he's not dead yet. Fix that. There we go. Cabela got the kill, our waifu. Everybody favorite. The ancient monster struggles against the energy manacles of the yoke. Its impossible powers to make reality itself burst at the seams are now being forced into a compact dungeon, quark by quark, returning it to a cruel and painful non-existence in the moment. It could struggle harder, but something is hindering it. You are the cause of these hindrances. Only now does the Catan Shard turn its focus to you, for the battle was nothing more than the reflexive resistance of an alien mind, absorbed in a completely different range of thoughts and responses. But now, it is thinking about you, and its thoughts are so corporeal that you can sense them and know them. It seeks an end to the confrontation. It is capable of resolving it in a way that would benefit all. More and more tears appear all over the shard's form. As the yoke absorbs its power, it becomes increasingly harder for the shard to maintain its physical structure. Each imperfection you inflict brings the Star Predator closer to imprisonment. Fuck is that? As yet another layer of reality cracks, a figure appears before you. Her. After giving you a probing and appraising look, Theodora permits herself a slight smile. Think about the Catan. Mental contact is effortless. I wasn't trying to... No, I said think about it. How would that possibly make anyone think I meant try to talk to it with my mind? What dumbass wrote that one? Such a powerful being cannot comprehend communicating with anyone but its equals. Simply bears the gift of making the other hear and understand it. So grand is the potential of its thoughts. Try to sense the motives behind its actions. Catan wishes to be. All Catan exists to spread and conquer. Not to stay manacled within Untime, where it was entombed by the contemptible sentient tools, away from all that is. Catan wishes to ascend, sate its hunger, and embrace once more the pure exhilaration of claiming and taming reality. Understand what benefits it promises. Power, eternity, comprehension. The Catan once chose to reign over the short-lived races, and forged a new and glorious fate for them. It has learned from its mistakes. Now will only bestow its gifts upon the chosen few. The Catan can grant... Your thoughts falter, for it is difficult for your mind to fathom the full scope of this word. The Catan can grant everything. I'm not gonna try to touch Theodora. Consign you to oblivion without end, monster. Your strike leaves another fracture on its ethereal body, forcing the Catan to expend one more grain of its attention on maintaining its physical form. That is all it takes for its power to start flowing into the yoke in an endless stream. The ancient monstrosity lets out an enraged howl, for this is the second time in an eternity that its freedom is being usurped in so forceful a fashion. As you stand before the yoke's control altar, you gaze upon it, possibly the greatest instrument of destruction in the history of your race. The key that unlocks the gates to the nigh unfettered heights of power. A weapon. Cogitator block that was designed to transmit orders to the imprisoned Catan shatters into pieces. It is a weapon no longer, merely a prison. Catan shard was destroyed. Grand finale, you finished the game. Yay, achievement. The shadow of calamity threatening the Coronis Expanse should the ancient god ever be unshackled has been lifted. At least, for a time. Gathering its bleeding worlds together again, the Rogue Trader restored order in the Expanse without compromise, protecting the faith and leaving behind any notion that the region could ever be beyond his righteous justice. An expansion began that would slowly turn the sector into a new province of the Imperium, where rogue traders were no longer needed. Von Valancius dynasty was given the privilege of becoming the stewards of the Expanse. The rogue trader led many campaigns of conquest against Xenos enclaves and heretic nests. Karad Val, an infamous disciple of the ruinous powers, gathered forces in corrupted systems to challenge the defender of the Creed. A great confrontation was unavoidable. Strict abidance by the law and devotion to the Imperial Creed brought great renown to the Rogue Trader. Every planetary turn on every world in the sector, thousands of prayers were offered up to the Golden Throne, praising the name of the Guardian of the Coronis Expanse. Legend has it that the God Emperor himself favored his steward, granting him a miraculous power to crush evil, and shielding him from enemy plots. The truth is that the Ecclesiarchy, in its battle to control narratives in the Imperium, persecuted those who spread such tall tales, as well as those who demanded the Rogue Trader be proclaimed a living saint. Having lost its leader and lacking a worthy successor, the Chorda dynasty began to weaken. The grim legacy of the abominable Aspis revealed itself, and the Protectorate fell into chaos. Grasping claimants tore the defenseless Demesne apart. The era of Caligos' cruelty and wrath came to an end. Only then did the many terrified witnesses to his vile crimes step forward to recount them. Memories of the good, prosperous years for the Protectorate under the wise rule of Caligos Winterscale were eclipsed by the legacy of his innumerable and bloody crimes. Yvain Winterscale underwent his Magna Accessio and became his dynasty's new rogue trader. Many said that noble Yvain lacked firmness of judgment, yet he had more than enough trust, even in those who were unworthy of it. The young rogue trader did not forget those who had saved him from the Rycat system, or the favors that House von Valancius had bestowed on the Winterscales. The cult of St. Drusius continued its indefatigable struggle to spread the faith around the Expanse, and expose the vile transgressions of the authorities. The stronger and wealthier a planet was, the less its rulers wanted to see the black-clad preachers. Riots and assassinations pushed the cult to the place where it felt most confident: the frontier. Hieronymus Doloroso remained the most revered priest in the cult of St. Drusus. He turned no one away, hearing confessions from pirates, bilge rats, deserters, and beggars alike. Might have been one of those undeserving wretches who infected him with the rare form of leprosy that robbed him of his sight. Yet his heart could always see the corruption in the souls of his repenting children. In the following years, the Cognizance fleet slowly and deliberately left the explored systems of the Expanse for the furthest remote regions. Observation stations and claimed worlds were abandoned, and even Euphrates II became derelict. Statistical divination warned the fleet's conclave of the grim events awaiting the Expanse. They decided to deliver their fellows from the coming storm. Yet they did not share the truth with the laypeople. The schism of discontinuing the cycle was over. The repentance of Pascal Hahnemann put a stop to the discussion about whether to update the algorithms and procedures of worship. The secret of Eschatos was declared heresy against the Deus Mechanicus, and forgotten. The Cognizance fleet was reunited and ready to meet the decay and degradation of knowledge prophesied by Archmagos Amernat. Magos Dominus Opticon 22 was sent to the forward scouting squadron by the fleet conclave. The reason for this was the discovery of the support he secretly stored in his computing blocks for the discontinuing of the cycle. His ship disappeared without a trace in a research raid. The crisis in the Expanse dealt a serious blow to the business interests of the Fellowship of the Void. Having no powerful allies, they retreated into the darkness of frontier systems. The hard life they faced there forged them into a new tribe. Furious, wild, and willing to do anything for survival. They swore to return and retake what had once been theirs. For many years, old Rizza presided over the captains of the Fellowship. At the end of her life, she once again took the helm of a ship, led an unprecedented attack on the mother squadron of the Cognizance fleet, during which the attackers managed to seize a dozen transport ships loaded with the Omnissiah's sacred gifts. Violence at the Expanse put many on their guard, and as a result, the Casbalica mission's business declined. Soon, rumors surfaced among the cold traders about a so-called commission that had made it through the Maw and into the Expanse. Its professed purpose was to audit assets and take measures to restructure operations. These words carried with them an ominous threat. Vladame Takara, as Liege of Footfall, survived 14 assassination attempts and thwarted no less than 2,000 schemers before a shot finally took his life. The esteemed Liege's funeral was held in great secrecy, with only his closest entourage being permitted to view his corpse, which spawned some peculiar rumors. A multitude of agreements bound the Imperial Navy to the Von Valancius dynasty. Captains were eager to patrol the Protectorate, knowing they would be richly rewarded. Competing ships were lost to pirate attacks and subjected to harsh inspections. Many officers quietly entered the dynasty's service, receiving a salary and title in exchange for their excellent skills. Worthy admirals valued their new friends and enjoyed more gold on their uniforms. Chartist Captain Austerius Thorfast founded the Thorfast and Companions Merchant Company, excelling in trade and acquiring a substantial escort fleet. After 3 decades, he traveled to the Maw to return to the Imperium in hopes of obtaining the fabled Warrant of Trade. It is not known how this venture ended. Dargonis grew and prospered until it became the capital of the Cronus Expanse. The planet was like a giant magnet whose pull held together the worlds of the Expanse, absorbing the treasures and vices of the sector. Dargonis became the bastion of order in the Expanse. From here, punitive expeditions were dispatched to tainted worlds, and entire spires were occupied by officials and bureaucrats of the Imperium. On many planets, the expression, "a man from Dargonis," soon came to mean a fearsome inspector with the power to impose punishment. Kiava Gamma washed off the stain of its former defilement, became known as a pious and productive world. Hard work and inquisitive study of the mysteries of technology glorified the Deus Mechanicus. The enthroned Null Caliph drew millions of pilgrims, granted the planet hallowed Stratus. Its sacred calculation continued for centuries. The foremost sages of the Adeptus Mechanicus traveled to the world so they could attempt to divine its meaning. Janus was conquered, the Xenospirits were exorcised, and the wilderness was subdued. The fields grew until they covered the entire planet, and billions of tons of provisions were harvested there. Janus had become the breadbasket of the Expanse, and to threaten it would be to condemn millions to starvation. The nobility of the Expanse appreciated the idyllic conditions of the pearl-like paradise world. White castles rose above the agri-complexes in their mud, and the shining knights of Janus gifted the sector with many a hero who covered themselves in glory. The mines of WH40K grew deeper and deeper. Soon the planet became the darkest and most frightening colony of the Expanse, the final stop for the exiled and the damned. The brutal, hardened inhabitants of the Death World feared neither humans nor xeno-horrors, knew no mercy, and were known as the most fearsome fighters in the sector, who had traded their lives for the right to leave the eternal darkness of the mines. Guarded, luxurious palaces were built under the climate domes, shrouded by clouds of poison. They housed so many powerful blackguards, persecuted aristocrats, and wealthy scoundrels that WH40K gained unimaginable political influence. Such grand and sinister deeds were done there that before long the grim Death World was spoken of as the new political center of the Expanse. No longer secluded and forlorn, Foulstone turned into the spiritual center of the Expanse, clad in gold and power. Rulers went there to be anointed for greatness, criminals for penance, and the righteous for encouragement. And there was no end to them in sight. Converted into a comet shrine, Foulstone's moon spread the word of Saint Cognacious throughout the Expanse. Protecting worlds from attacks by the enemies of humanity, its servants asked for neither money nor power, but only the relics left by their blessed patron. The wise handed them over with reverence, while the haughty learned how heavy the hammer of Foulstone was. With the fall of their unholy patron, the Edge of Daybreak, the cult of the Final Dawn perished as well. Every cell of the cult was hunted down and eliminated. Rumors that some worshippers of the ruinous powers had managed to get away, hiding of the writings of their warp-banished lord under their robes, were baseless. Left without a mission or a leader, the word-bearers retreated to the depths of the Immaterium. Their last act of vengeance was a bloody assault on Footfall. The populace of several asteroids was exterminated or enslaved. The statue of the God Emperor was badly damaged. After recovering from Chorta's regime, Footfall reclaimed its status as the trading hub of the Expanse. Having learned a bitter lesson, Vladame Tokara created the Footfall Partisans Militia, a well-equipped mercenary company that answered only to him. A modicum of order returned to the station. The changes that the Von Valancius dynasty brought to Footfall endured on the station long after. The new regime on Footfall was less harsh than Chorta's dictatorship, but it still managed to give the station the appearance of a lawful colony of the Imperium. After years of persecution, the crime lords realized it was more profitable to make thrones legally, so they installed themselves in high-ranking positions among the station's wardens and bureaucrats. This change only increased their greed and thirst for blood. Left without a sun, the Rykad system ceased to exist. Its now frigid planets spun away into the darkness, no longer held by the gravitational pull of their star. A century later, a fragment of Rykad Minoris entered the Furibundus system and was snared by void miners. A piece of its rock was delivered to Footfall with reverence and used in the restoration of the God Emperor's statue as a final memorial to the world devoured by corruption. Rumors of the rotting remains of an Eldari craft world spread around the Expanse. Explorators, privateers, Kazbalic agents, and anyone hungry for easy money all rushed to frontier systems to vie for a piece of the prize. Some were swallowed by the warp, while others perished in skirmishes with their rivals. The most skilled and fortunate returned empty-handed after decades of searching. A colossal ship as big as an Imperial world simply vanished, as if it had never existed. But the legend of the Forbidden Treasure lived on and continued to bring daring souls to ruin. When news of the death of the Master of Flesh reached him, Shiren K sent what was left of the Eldari ships to the most distant stars of the Expanse. There, hidden from human eyes with xenotech and sorcery, the Eldari carried on their humble existence, and even managed to establish a few contacts among trusted Monkey, who helped the Xenos in return for knowledge and technology. Eldari from the fallen craft world Kruderok, who once traveled through the darkness of the Expanse in a desperate attempt to gather the remains of their kind,
were becoming a rarer sight. Even the most skillful Kazbalka agents and audacious bounty hunters, with knowledge of Xeno settlements on the edges of the Expanse, could no longer find their trail. Squads of Eldari Rangers suddenly appeared on different worlds, and disappeared abruptly without shedding a drop of blood. Their purpose remained an enigma. The spirit monolith, purified by the Harlequin troop on the Crone world, was hidden from the insatiable eyes of Monkey by raging warp storms. Ships started going missing more frequently in the systems close to the planet. Even the most courageous captains gave the region a wide berth, and it was named the Damned Reefs. Somewhere on the underside of reality lay Kamarog. Woven from manifold other dimensions and illuminated as always with the light of stolen suns, its street ever filled with screams and agony. Any misfortune experienced by the Dark City became another scar on its appalling face, lost among thousands of other vile blemishes. Long as pain pulsed in its blood-soaked spires, the insatiable and unshakable Kamarog continued its flight through the webway, along with its unchanging ruler, the leader of the Cabal of the Black Heart and the most dangerous of all Drakari, Asdrubal Vect. The fall of the Cabal of the Reaving Tempest united Kamarog for a brief and bloody moment. The elites of the Dark City set their squabbles aside and found a new game in tearing apart the domain of Archon Iremeris. The fate of the Reaving Tempest reminded the other Cabals that nothing lasts forever in the Dark City, save the city itself. The dimensional gate leading to the Necron Tomb worlds was sealed, and not a soul knew what transpired on the other side. But now and then, rumors came from the fringes of systems settled by humanity. Rumors of sickle-shaped ships that appeared and disappeared suddenly, without showing any signs of hostility. Yet, the voice of Voxmaster Vigdis Suri Atta of the Ptolemon dynasty was long heard in the Cronus Expanse, trumpeting the arrival of the Rogue Trader. It brought glad tidings to the faithful, and instilled horror in heretics awaiting righteous retribution. After her death, Vigdis was granted the honor of being immortalized in a herald servo skull. For many centuries to come, her voice praised the Von Valancius dynasty, transmitting orders across decks. Master Helmsman Ravor diligently executed his duties until his dying day without once succumbing to sleep's sweet embrace. Only when a piece of shell penetrated the bridge's armored hull and was stopped by the stern officer's unyielding chest did he finally know rest, leaning against his trusty helm. Aww. Sacrificing his health in diligent service to the Rogue Trader, letting his wasteland expand even more, High Factotum Janrus Denrock watched over the dynasty's riches for years. The day his body was found sprawled over paperwork in his office, his assistant came forward with 2 reports. The most esteemed Janrus Denrock has passed away of natural causes due to complications of a weakest heart. And, as regards your assets, everything is in order. What a badass. Jocasta Sourback carried on in her service as Master-at-Arms, maintaining order on the decks with maul and noose. Over the years, she took several husbands. Her descendants came to be known as Sourbacks of the Void, a lesser offshoot of the eminent aristocratic clan from the capital world. Zachary Weiss, choirmaster of the Astropaths, turned his shame and repentance into an iron chain binding his soul. Cold and detached, he would never again take a personal apprentice or become close with a subordinate. He dedicated himself to impeccable service, unfailingly carrying out the Lord Captain's orders, and surviving at least 7 incidents that wiped out the entire Astropathic choir. Urbend Drivestem cared more about preserving the influence of his line than the well-being of the Protectorate. His blind ambition lost him his governor's seat and the respect of his family. Within a few generations, one of the largest houses of Dargonis turned into an obscure family of petty aristocrats. Toriana Gaprak missed the moment when her family, which had previously functioned like a well-oiled machine, started to fall apart, racked by infighting. Among her distant relatives, many blamed Toriana for the Kiava Gamma disaster. Soon the Gaprak family splintered into warring factions, and spent centuries locked in a violent struggle only occasionally punctuated by futile attempts to reunite the house. Makaria Sourback was loyal to the Rogue Trader to the last, despite all the rumors to the contrary. Finding little affection among his subjects or family, he stayed true to himself, remaining in forthright, severe, and pinous,
pious person. Macarius strived to ensure that every soul in his charge felt justifiable dread before both him and the God Emperor. Over the years, the Elder Sourback even grew close to the Rogue Trader, at least as far as such a cold and ill-disposed person could. After he proved himself a dutiful and merciless warrior, he became the Warden of Dargonis and vigilantly guarded the Lord Captain's life and peace. Members of House Wersarian served the dynasty faithfully and loyally, amassing more and more power. A century later, they had finally gained the respect enjoyed by other noble houses. Yet, power and luxury can dull any blade. The now pampered and idle aristocrats were scarcely recognizable as the descendants of the formidable Seneschal Wersarian. Clementia Wersarian, granddaughter of Abelard and Chancellor of Dargonis, executed her duties irreproachably, and even found time to school the younger generations of her family. She was an equally skilled mentor, chancellor, and political operative. After a century of immaculate service, she surprised everyone by leaving her position and becoming the first mate on a trade ship. She would later admit, like a true Wersarian, she had always had a passion for ships and voidfaring. Branches of House Gaprak and Wersarian became intertwined for a time, after the marriage of Astartia and Vicent. God. To the great sadness of the couple and the great amusement of the spiteful Dargonis nobility, their marriage produced no children. Just like her ancestors, Astartia Wersarian Gaprak dedicated her life to service. Crushed by the events that shook the stability of his house and his inability to provide an heir, Vicent lived in his wife's shadow. When his time came, he passed away without notice. The Harlequin known as Nocturne of Oblivion visited the Expanse once again. Sneaking onto Dargonis, he came to the Rogue Trader's palace and left him a special gift. A case of Eldari crafting, unmistakably ancient and precious, adorned with the rune of an eye inside a triangle. Only the Lord Captain knew what it contained. The Harlequin candidly warned him that he was drawing the Von Valancius dynasty into a deadly dance, a shaking doom, that all will freeze when the threads of Terror's loom. And he promptly departed, and not without reason. A few hours later, assassins from the Dark City appeared, following his trail, and were mercilessly killed. Their armor bore the sign of the Cabal of the Black Heart. After months of searching, Dargonis wardens found the remains of Achilles Scalander on the lowest levels of the Hive. Drakari artifacts and records discovered beside him indicated the agent of the Inquisition had been compromised and was working for the Xenos. The secret of the Gene-Stealer cult infestation in the Coronis Expanse was laid bare. A wave of purges rolled across many worlds, with enraged rabble and planetary guards massacring thousands of those whose appearance diverged from true human form. Most of them were, of course, ordinary abject genetic misfits and luckless rejects. Their lives were a small price to pay for the security's purity. Having completed his last journey with his Lord Captain, Abelard Wersarian, with the gracious permission of the Rogue Trader, left his post as Seneschal and took over the helm of his large family. House Wersarian rose above its rivals and was never again the target of persecution, even after their esteemed patriarch died decades later in his bed, surrounded by his grieving loved ones. After the victory on Epitaph, Argenta left the Rogue Trader. An insatiable flame burned brighter and brighter in her soul, hungry for vengeance, and so the sister embarked on her own personal crusade. At first, she hunted down and exterminated the remaining followers of the Final Dawn. Then she pursued those who had abetted them. And then anyone in whom she saw a hint of heresy. Even when she directed her wrath against entire cities, no power could stop Argenta, clad in her sacred armor. She left a trail of fire and blood across the Expanse. A trail that ended on Salus Prime. No one knows why the sister returned for a third time to the planet where she had found a relic, but after descending to its surface, she mysteriously vanished. Since then, there have been incessant pilgrimages in search of Salus Prime. Legend has it that the renowned Argenta wanders the ancient ship, awaiting the hero of purest heart to whom she will bestow the one star, and mercilessly slaying those in whom she detects even a sliver of darkness. No one knows whether the legend is true, yet of the thousands who have tried to enter the ancient ship, not one has returned alive. Oh god. Enjoying the privileges of the Mercatum Tabula Officiale, Jay Haydari found her way into the heart of the Expanse's underworld. She became known as the Baroness of Shadows. Having amassed so much wealth and influence, she came to control the economic fate of the sector. Even the most powerful figures in the Expanse were forced to reckon with and despise her. For a long time, Jay was able to thwart the attempts on her life, till one day she disappeared. Many continue to believe she still rules the Expanse from shadows even deeper than before. Vizier Cabela of the Bloodspun Web performed a great reading of the Emperor's Tarot. The card of the Knight showed her cult a new path and a new teaching. Cabela raised a generation of proud and fervent warriors, led the Scarlet and Black Army out of the shadows, to descend upon a multitude of worlds, and hound the faithless in the name of the undying Emperor. Rivers of spilt, unclean blood drenched the soils of worlds where the Bloodspun Web seeds had sprouted. Planetary rulers outlawed and hunted down the Death Cultists, to the point of starting full-blown wars, but their armies were hopelessly outmatched by a host led by the Vizier's will, their powerful foresight guided by the Emperor's Tarot. With her newly acquired power and resources, Jay Haydari expended a great deal of effort to put an end to the cult of the Bloodspun Web. The ease with which she sent assassins after the Spinners and spread damning propaganda betrayed her strong vested interest. Jay, you bitch. Many thought her actions reckless and expected a retaliatory strike to be delivered before long, but it never came. With the cards of the Emperor's Tarot spread before her in the darkness, Vizier Cabela performed one reading after another, but as much as it troubled her, she could find no command to end the life of her brazen adversary. Thus, the blade remained sheathed. Oh, I guess she's not a heretic. Everyone on the ship knew about the liaison between Cabela and her Daemon. They also knew it would never turn into anything greater. Reluctantly, Cabela grew distant from the Lord Captain, content with her role as her beloved's bodyguard, keeping her feelings confined to her own heart. Yeah, it was really fucking not clear that that's what was happening. They kept cycling between, you have me, and I can never leave this, like, in random lines. I have to think it was fucking up. Painful as that decision was, she saw no other path that the tenets of the Bloodspun Web could lead her down. Inquisitor Heinrich von Kalox continued to serve the Imperium and vanished under mysterious circumstances several years later. After receiving a signal encrypted with Inquisition codes, he traveled to an unknown distant world from which he never returned. Alright. In her journeys with the rogue trader, Cassia Orselio experienced all the hardships and delights of the galaxy. Invaluable experience and new knowledge helped her to finally conquer her fears and accept herself and her powers. Lady Navigator became Novator of her house, tasked with addressing the consequences of Tisiphane's rule and the chaos that followed her disappearance. For the duration of her reign, she patiently waited on uniting the feuding branches of the house, forging alliances and expanding the influence of House Orselio. The Starway Atlas, which contained the memories of Tisiphone and the Satala clan, lost its power. House Orselio's navigators once again had to rely on skill alone in the depths of the Immaterium. Many lost their lives, but those who survived the crisis became hardened veterans and pillars of the house. Most of those fortunate souls were young and brave. Too few among them were old and wise. Coming before the conclave of the Cognizance Fleet, Pascal Hahnemann repented of the schism. Casting off his former heresy-stained identifier, he accepted a designation unregistered by the catalog and surrendered his Magos Regalia. His fate remains unknown, but the archives contain reports on the activities of a stern castigator of the code falsely identified as the tech priest Brass Whisper, who was already deceased by that time. The face of this castigator was hidden behind a mask. His mission was interrogation and elimination. This agent of the Conclave witnessed every sign of tech heresy and exterminated all who endangered the theorems of purity granted by the Forerunners. For many long years, Irliet traveled at the rogue trader's side, helping him decipher the secrets of lost Xenos races and lending him the wisdom of her kind. Half a century later, she sensed that it was time to say goodbye. The path of the outcast had come to an end. After bidding farewell to her Alantok, Irliet made her way to her surviving kin. Irliet followed a new path, the path of the warrior. She only hoped she would never be forced to raise her weapon against the mortals who had become her true brothers and sisters in arms. Game save. Such was the echo of the deeds of the rogue trader of House von Valancius. Deeds that transformed the Cronus Expanse and prepared it for events even darker and more violent. But those are the events of a different story. This one has come to an end. The end. That was Rogue Trader. I do like this game, but all of Owlcat's very, very, very grubby fingerprints still showed on it. No game they make is devoid of their flaws, and it's very frequently the same flaws as the previous time. I'm still excited for Dark Heresy, of course. I wonder if that's what the next thing in the Cronus Expanse is going to be, the Dark Heresy, though I kind of don't want it to be that, because I feel like this is too open-ended. There's too many different endings for this for that to be the case, and they'd have to go really far into the future to make that work, you know? Or, I guess if they let you import your world state, like, start doing it like that. They try to do what Dragon Age used to do. That'd be kind of fun, but I find it unlikely. There were a lot of times... this is an Owlcat thing. There's a lot of times it'll just be very unclear whether or not that's what was supposed to happen. And what a dialogue option will seem to be saying will be completely different from what it's actually saying. And it gets annoying. I really like most of the characters, but I also feel like, and a lot of people have really echoed this opinion, feels like it's really, really unclear what opinion you're expressing to them a lot of the time. And in trying to tell them that what they're doing is insane and going to get them killed, it'll instead, the game will, recontextualize what you're trying to do as you gaslighting them. And making their lives worse somehow. And it's like... a lot of people who tried to play the good guy ran into that problem. I get it. It's Warhammer. At the end of the day, a good guy, it's not... There's no good people. Let people fucking try without calling them assholes for it. There's a difference between letting something fail and straight up, turning them into abusers for trying. It's not the same fucking thing, Owlcat. Come on. Wanting better for someone is not the same as trying to change, fundamentally alter their brain chemistry, mind control them and abuse them. Now, I didn't run into this, but a lot of people were complaining that it happened. I felt the need to point it out. What else? Some of the storylines for characters, it's very obvious where all the dev time was. It was on the front end of the game. After Kamarog, stuff is way looser and way less obvious. And way less satisfying. I'd say the game up until Kamarog is at its best. And after, it just goes downhill. I'm still going to play the next one, because the ride is always fun, even if it rarely ends in a way that's satisfying, because they always do this. All the stuff is at the front, and the deeper you get in, the less detailed it starts being. I realize there's a few characters I didn't really get to see their end. Ulfar, because I picked the wrong dialogue choice, even though I succeeded at the thing. So that's fucking annoying and stupid, and I'm never gonna forgive that. Idira, because honestly, I was making myself too dogmatic early on. I wasn't playing the character the way I really wanted to. But then This really pissed me off. You know why I spared Comrog? Not because I wanted to spare the asshole Drakari who all deserve to die because they're fucking psychopaths down to the last one. It's because I didn't want to feed Slanesh. And I feel like that should be enough of a reason to do it. Like, feeding a Chaos God that many souls at once is a recipe for fucking yourself over and fucking the entire planet over. Every planet over in the long run. But no, the only reason I could give for why I do it was, oh, I wanted to show them mercy. That's not what I was fucking doing! Ugh. But it's what the game says I did, so it's what I did. I'm not happy about that. Special thanks to the team at Games Workshop. Special thanks, I think there's a bunch of, like, the backers. Fucking hell, this is just the A's. It's in 3 columns. Yeah. I'm not gonna pick up another Owlcat game for a while. I'll level with you. I don't even... if I play this game again, it'll be in my own time. I do not see myself streaming it again. It is so goddamn long. At least not once a week like I was doing. That protracted things so much. But, I can say I have 2 different... Actually, no, I do have 2 ideas for what game I'm gonna play next, though I'm pretty sure I know which one it's gonna be. What's gonna take the Saturday and Tuesday Sunday and Tuesday, though I might just start streaming Saturday too, because I feel so empty on those days where I'm doing, like, nothing. I really don't do anything with the day off part of my day off. But maybe I'll try. Who knows? But I'm probably gonna pick up Deltarune. I really want to play Chapter 3 and 4, and it's getting harder and harder to ignore spoilers. Like, I've already seen a design from Chapter 3 of someone, some character people like, but I'm trying to avoid it. It's getting difficult, but I'm keeping out. Though I do wonder if I should start at Chapter 3, or if I should go through 1 and 2. Because I really like Chapter 1 and 2, and I want to show off and talk about them. But it's a question. I want to jump right into where people know the new stuff is, where new stuff is for me, because I've already seen Chapter 1 and 2, or I start from the beginning so I can really contextualize everything and try to build up my own foreshadowing. Like, look at what stuff is foreshadowed early on and try to go for it. Really try to take notes on this, because Deltarune... Toby Fox's games are so detailed and so lore-heavy. I really appreciate, well, the 2 he's made. I suppose Deltarune isn't even finished yet. There's still 5, 6, and 7, I think? Because the original plan, I think, was Chapter 1 for the demo, then 2, 3, and 4 probably for a release, and then 5, 6, and 7 for the full release. But he released Chapter 2 a bit early because of the pandemic, just so people had something to do, and it was just a gift to the community to make up for that. Not that he had anything to do with causing it. A lot of names here. Finally in the S's. The longest ones, for sure. There's so many S names. Although there were a fuckload of A's. Am I happy with the ending? No, because I feel like I didn't really roleplay my character the way I meant to. I feel like I was too focused on being dogmatic all the time, when I should have been Dogma Iconoclast hybrid. And that's really the character I was trying to play, to roleplay, but I didn't do it, and I feel like that made my ending... It made me overall not as great. Though I do wonder, how the hell could I have really gotten any of them any higher? Like, I maxed out the Navy, and that was cool, but all the other ones, I really could not get them high enough. Yep. Oh, okay, finished. Yeah, I finished it exactly 1 week before the new DLC dropped. Guess if I really wanted to, I could pick this up again next Tuesday with the new DLC, but... Nah, that is a lot of time to dedicate to doing fuck all. And I already know the twists and everything, so it wouldn't be as fun for a stream. Maybe in a very long time from now I'll stream this again. But I think I'd wait until Dark Heresy is out to do that. Yeah, I'll play that instead, which should be interesting. I hear there's endings to this game where you can genuinely make the world a better place. Just not too many of them, and you gotta really work for it. And I didn't get the secret better ending, because I didn't do Nomos properly, because I guess I can go fuck myself is the reason. But I think that's gonna do it for this one. I'm gonna stop the recording for YouTube here. As always, thank you so much for coming if you came. If you didn't come, you don't get a thank you. Bye-bye, YouTube.